Most people have no idea how powerful income investing really is. What if I told you this portfolio could generate thousands in passive income every month just by holding the right ETFs? Today I'm showing you my income portfolio, ETFs like ULTY, QQQI, CHPY, and several others, and exactly how much it could be worth in the future. You don't want to miss this growth curve, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Simply Money. Today I'm going to be taking you through several of my income portfolio ETFs. I have a couple weekly payers and a couple monthly payers. I'm not going to be showing you SCHD. That is a larger holding that I have. You can see some of the videos I've done on my channel that I show all of them. But I'm focusing more on the weekly and the monthly payers for those who are looking to increase their yield and how much they're getting from their portfolio and how these work. I'm showing what I have currently and what the future value could be. I've created these charts where it breaks it down each year, month by month or week by week, depending how these pay. And we can change the annual share growth rate. We can change the dividend annual growth rate and play with those. And I'm going to show you the totals of what I have now and the most exciting part, what it could be in the future holding these funds. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my smallest position here, IWMA. It's a position I just added. I wanted a little diversification on my monthly payers. Again, this is not financial advice. This is for informational, educational purposes only. I'm sharing what I'm doing to give you some ideas and to share some data. I'm not telling you to go buy any of these funds or not to buy them. I need you to understand that you need to do your own due diligence, but I'm just showing you what these funds are doing and could possibly do in the future. Nobody knows what the future is going to do, but we're going to play with these and see what the possibilities are. This fund here, IWMA, it's a small cap fund ETF, monthly payer, has a yield of about 10%, give or take. Right now, I have a small portion, 143 shares. The starting price was $48.45. So my current value in this is right around $7,000. I've put in a 3% growth rate for these and a 2% annual dividend increase on these. Again, we don't know. I just put that in as conservative. And you can see here each month how this adds up. You get your dividend. I started out with what the dividend was last month, and then we just increased that by 2% per year. You can see it takes several months before that actually increases in a full cent to where it shows this has fractions of cents back here hidden. But you can see that if I was to take this and move this over, you can see those fractions of a cent. It's going up 2%, which is compounded annually, so you're getting just a fraction increase each week. But we're going to keep this like this so you can just see it in a more realistic look of 24 cents. The dividend payment would be only $34.32. So a lot of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous. That's so minimal. But this is for me balancing some things. And I'm in the accumulation phase right now. For those that have been watching my channel, you've seen how I've gone from a growth focus. I had a lot of SCHD, which was my income growth. And now I'm diversifying more and getting more focused into just the income portion, getting ready to begin to dispatch and use that income. But I'm accumulating these shares right now. So you buy just about 3/4 of a new share and add that to your share count. We're going to skip down here to year 4, month 1. This is after 3 years. This fund would have approximately 170 shares. Our share price would be up to $49.45. And you can see that our distribution would only be about $41 per month. This isn't one that I have in here to bring me tons of money, but it's a small, slow grower that I put in there. Let's skip down here to 10 years. I'm using the 4-year mark, which is 3 years from now. If you look at these charts, year 4, month 1 is the beginning of the 4th year. So it's been 3 years complete. We're going to look at year 11, month 1 right here. And this is 10 years complete. With this fund, I'd have 257 shares. The share price would have grown slightly to $51.87. You're getting about 25 cents a share. You're still only getting about $64 a month. And this has only grown to about $13,000. Again, I don't know what this is going to do, I've done a very conservative growth on both of the share price and the dividend. I'm holding this for 10 years. It doubles. That's fine. I'm fine with that. It's a small addition, just a little balancing of my portfolio. Now let's get into some others that are a little bit more exciting. BTCI. Here I have 117 shares. My value on this one, again, is about $7,000. I went with the same 3% growth, 2% dividend growth. Our share price is $59.30. With this one, let's go down to year 4. You can see the beginning of year 4, so our third year complete. We've got up to 265 shares. Our share price would have grown to about $60. We're getting a dividend monthly about $1.39 per share. We're getting about $368 per month. Again, nice little addition to that. I've been adding, at this point, would be about 6 shares. And that brings us up to about $16,000 in our total value on this. Almost tripled it in 3 years based on this. So not too bad. I'd take that. This is BTCI. Again, another monthly payer that we have. We're going to go to SPYI, SPYI. Same thing here. We have 1,109 shares. The share price on this right now, I'm using today's price, is $52.24. 51 cents per share is the latest it's paid. We're still going with a 3 and 2 on the growth on these monthlies because they will tend to have some annual growth overall long term. We don't know what the dividend will be. So again, I'm going with a conservative number on here. The value I have in this right now is $57, almost $58,000. Let's skip down here to year 4. If you want to look at these charts more in depth, you can check out the description down below where you're able to access those. I appreciate all the support to the channel, all those who have supported us. I truly appreciate it. Helps us get more videos out to other people. Leave me a comment down below if you like this type of thing, seeing the forecasting of my portfolio, or if you want to see forecasting of particular funds. Maybe you hold a fund. Drop a comment down below. Tell us how many shares you have of what fund, and you want to see what this would look like in 5, 10, 20 years, whatever your time frame you're looking at. So here, this would bring us up to 1,571 shares. Share price increasing just over $1. Our dividend is up a penny to 52 cents, which brings our monthly income up to $800 on this. 15 more shares are being added each month on this scenario if you continue to drip. I'm doing the 4-year mark because that's when I am looking at possibly saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to start living off this. I don't know. I may go longer. I may not go that long. We'll see what life brings. But that'd bring the portfolio on this fund up to $83,000, almost $84,000. I'm going to show you the totals of all of these in a moment. Let's go down to 10 years. The beginning of year 11, which would be 10 years into this, you'd have 3,500 shares. If you did this for 10 years with that starting balance that I have, my share price would be almost $56. We're still only getting 53 cents in a dividend. I don't think that would happen. I think we would increase more, but I'm just being conservative. Now we're getting an $1,856 a month distribution, or I could add 33 more shares to it. My portfolio would grow to $194,000. That's SPYI. QQQI. Let's look at this. I have 1,173 shares. Again, the distribution was 60 cents on this one. Share price $54.14. Still sticking with this 3 and 2 on these. I can play with these. I've played with them a lot and looked at them, different scenarios. This is just what I'm doing for this video. I can put in different numbers if you think, hey, I think this is going to do such and such. I'm going with conservative numbers on these. I have $63,000 in this fund currently, give or take. Let's go down to year 4. 3 years from now, would be up to 1,742 shares and getting 1,059 per month. Or I could add 19 shares, and that would bring us almost to $100,000 in our portfolio. Again, that's not too bad at that point. If I do say, okay, I'm done, there's another $1,000 that I'm getting each month. Okay, now we're going to get into our fun stuff, the weekly payers. Those who like weekly pay, throw it down in the comment below. Do you prefer weekly pay, monthly pay, or quarterly pay? Obviously, we like the weekly pay, but which funds do you like better? Do you like the weekly pay funds better, the monthly pay funds better, or even the quarterly pay funds better? I have SCHD. I'm not showing that here. That's a quarterly pay. So our weekly pay, I have bought into a new position with WPAY. This is a very new fund. So I put a little bit into this one. This is actually my smallest position, but I am adding about $200 a week, give or take, into this. until I get to a point, and then I'll stop that and I'll be putting it in other places. I'm just buying into this now. I wanted to do a little more dollar cost averaging, because typically when funds first launch, they'll take off a little bit, all the excitement, whatever, and then they'll start coming down. I don't want to throw too much in too quick. I did put some in, and I've been adding to that, but I'm up to 85 shares now, so I'm going to fix that. We're up to 85 shares. The price that we're at is $52.73. 41-cent distribution, although the last distribution was 88 cents. But I'm going with a very conservative, because we don't have a lot of track record on this, so I'm going with the 41-cent distribution, and I'll adjust this as more data comes out. As this fund sticks around longer, we'll see what it does. I'm going with a 5% annual growth rate and a negative 2% dividend, that the dividends are actually going to decrease over time. Again, I'm just playing with numbers based on me and what I want to see in different scenarios, but this is just showing different possibilities. My first payment with this would be about $35 per week. Again, maybe a tank of gas, nothing major there, but that's per week. But let's skip down to, and again, this isn't counting the $200 that I'm adding each week. This will be adding up much quicker, but we're just going off what I currently have. And so in 3 years, so starting year 4, I'd be at 253 shares. The share price would apparently increase to $61 at this rate. We'd be getting a 39-cent distribution. I'd be getting $97 per week. And our share value total would be $15,000. So basically tripled our portfolio. And again, this isn't counting adding anything. This is just that current value I have in there right now, and it dripping. And in 3 years, the beginning of year 4, I'd have tripled my value there. So not too shabby on that. I'm excited to watch WPAY and what it does. If you want to see more on WPAY, leave me a message down below. Let me know what it is you'd like to learn more about WPAY. I'm looking forward to watching this and seeing what it does. Let's go to weekly pay number 2 that we have, YBTC. Now this one here, I have 281 shares, $44.36. 37-cent distribution is what we just got. And again, I'm doing a 5%. We're doing a negative 3% and a negative 2% growth on the dividend. Year 1, this first paycheck each week, I'm going to get about $104. I'll be adding 2 more shares, and my value will be about $12,000 right now. Let's go to year 4. What's happening in year 4? When I begin year 4, after 3 years of holding this and just dripping it, I'd be up to 1,047 shares. Share price will have dropped down to about $40. It may drop further. If you've watched my other videos, you understand this dropping is actually a good thing. I'm okay with it. My dividend amount would be down to 35 cents, and I'd be collecting $364 with a portfolio balance about $42,000. I'm okay with this. I am okay with these numbers. I think it'll do better than this, but I'm just showing you some conservative numbers. If I held this 10 years and just kept dripping it, just for fun here, let's see what that would be. Year 11, week 1 would be up to 26,513 shares. Our share price would be down to $32. We'd be getting a 30-cent distribution per share, which is $8,000 per week. I'll take that. Not too shabby off a initial investment of that size. And your portfolio balance would be $867,000. That's what it could possibly turn into. Again, we don't know. We will see. So that brings us to ULTY, our third weekly payer. Now let's look at this. I just did a video solely on this, so I'm not going to talk about this too much. If you want to watch that, check it out in the videos down below on my channel. But we did a negative 15% decrease because everyone's like, oh, ULTY's dying. And we did a negative 15% dividend amount, which means the yield is staying the same. If the price and the yield both drop the same, the yield is exactly the same. I'm just using easy numbers. If the yield's 50%, then it's going to be the same. If it drops from $100 to $50 and your distribution goes from $10 to $5, it's the same percentage. So it's okay. Let's look at this. At the end of 3 years, beginning of my 4th year, I'd have 53,900 shares. We're starting with 4,200 shares. Right now is a balance of about $23,000. At the end of 3 years, the beginning of 4th year would be at 53, almost 54,000 shares. Look at ULTY's share price would drop to $3.35. If you looked at just this, you'd freak out. You'd be like, oh, look at that's horrible. It's dropped over $2 in just 3 years. Oh, look at this. Your dividends are down to 6 cents. It's dropped 3 cents. But look at this. My distribution payment would be $3,000 per week. Guys, this is $3,000 per week. I could add 888 more shares if I kept dripping it. That's a $180,000 portfolio balance. If this morning I say, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and stop the drip. I'm going to take this $3,000 a week. Maybe I spend $1,000 on bills, and maybe I reinvest the other $2,000 into more shares and keep building this up. But this is where we're at with ULTY, and this is what it could be in the future. Let's look at year 10 here, beginning of year 10. So after 9 years, look at that. You're looking at 8 million shares. Sorry, I just don't see that. It seems unreal. If it continued at that, you're only at $1.26 per share. You're only at 2 cents per distribution, but you're getting $184,000 a week. Guys, the power of these distributions is much more than a lot of people want to give it credit to. Again, I don't believe this is sustainable for this type of distribution for this long, but we'll see. Time will tell. I'm enjoying it while it lasts, and I'll keep an eye on it and make shifts. If I pull it in 3 years, I'm fine with that growth. Look at that, 23,000 to 180,000. I'll take that. Let's go to my last weekly pay. Again, these are my weekly and monthly pay portion of my income portfolio, taking me to another fairly new fund I have, CHPY. 349 shares I have there. Average price right now is $55. Dividend amount is 41 cents. I'm going with the 5% growth and negative 2% dividend growth. On this one, right now, it's about a $19,000 value that I have in here. And after 3 years, beginning of the 4th year, I'd have 986 shares. The share price would have grown almost about $9 there. The dividend amount would drop down to 39 cents. And my dividend payment would be $380 a week. Right now, it's about $143. So after 3 years, it has more than doubled. I'm okay with that. I don't know about you, but if you had a paycheck coming in every week, say you make $143 a week, and in 3 years it was more than doubled, wouldn't you be happy with that? Look at it again. Here's 380, 1, 2, 3 years. I've more than doubled it, almost tripled it at this point. 1, 2, 3, almost tripled it again. That's pretty good. Look at that. In 10 years, how much we've grown our weekly pay off a $20,000, $19,000 investment. So that is CHPY, and I actually think CHPY is going to do much better than the rates that I have here, but that's what I'm putting in for this scenario. Now let's go to the grand total. Are you excited to see the grand total? Everything added up. All right, let's look at our totals here. You can see weekly dividends. I'm getting about $660 per week for my 4 weekly dividend payments. I have about $60,000 in there. That's not bad. Weekly, I'm getting $660 off $60K. Now, my monthlies, I have about $1,464 coming in, and that one has about $135,000 value. Again, obviously, that's not as big of a distribution, but it's my diversification that I like and I'm comfortable with. For my portfolio, you're going to have to make your choices. Look at the combined. I'm getting $43.04 for my monthly and weekly distributions. That's not counting my quarterly distributions that I get off of $194,000. Not too shabby, and that's a very conservative. I know people who are out of these monthly and only in weekly trying to really ratchet up that income. And that's fine. I think that's great. I watch a lot of their videos and watch their portfolios, but this is what I'm comfortable with, and these are my numbers. At the end of year 3, the beginning of year 4, I would be getting almost $4,000 weekly from my weekly distributions. As all of these grow and I reinvest them, my portfolio would grow to $300,000 in 3 years. That's not too bad. Now, that's the weekly only. That's in 3 years. Now we look at the monthly, the beginning of year 4, we'd be looking at $22.82 a month on about $204,000. So combined in 3 years, this has the potential of growing to $18,000 a month off $265 portfolio. Again, I'm not looking at this at 10 years, but we're going to look at it for the sake of this. I'm not going to scroll down all the way down on the weekly, but our total combined monthly is just outrageous. It's ridiculous. So we're just going to track this and see what happens. It's so astronomical that you're making this type of growth on these. But this is what I'm looking at here. This is combined. You add in my SCHD, and I feel very good about where I'm at. I just have particular goals and particular objectives that I'm trying to accomplish. What do you think about this portfolio? Give me your comments. This is only about averaging, I believe, total. If you add in my SCHD, it's averaging about a 13.5% distribution each year off this portion of my portfolio if you count the SCHD. As we look over here in this column K, you can see the yield and the yield on cost as that increases as this compounds. Again, this is all scenarios I'm forecasting. I don't know the growth rates of the dividend or the share prices on any of these. So it's all speculation. And I always try to use super conservative numbers. I'll be tracking this and we'll be updating it so we can bounce back and forth as we look sometimes on the channel. If you like this, let me know in the comments. We also look at the back testing. So we'll look back from inception or different dates and how it has actually performed. And then we'll do scenarios like this where we look and forecast what it could do in the future based off trends and what we think these different funds will do based on the back testing that we have. Again, speculation, we don't know. Nobody knows the future. I appreciate you joining me. I hope you like these videos. If you like this sheet, go ahead and grab one. Go in the description down below. You can find that link there. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Simply Money.